Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Heavy Water 77. Hope everybody's doing well. I can't complain. But before I'm Jerry, and let me introduce you my co-host, the star of the show, Joseph Stout. How you doing, man?
You always say that, Jerry, but I think we're both equally co-stars of the show. But I'm
Uh,
doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Good. Anything new or exciting happening?
No, just counting down the days. A little over a week and a half till I get to go see Styx.
All right.
Excited. Should be a good show.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are getting into really getting into the classic era of this band, and the album today we're doing is Crystal Ball, which has a new member, a noob. There's a noob in the band by the name of Tommy Shaw. You may have
A,
heard
a
of
new
him, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
a new Stygian, as the liner
New
notes call him.
new Stygian, yeah, man. But yeah, you can definitely see a change in their direction with Tommy on this album. With some of the songs still kind of sound a little like the old Sticks, but you can definitely tell they're going to a more mainstream rock, you know, direction. That's what I'm looking for. But anyway, Joseph, what do you got in this album, man?
Yeah, so this album was released in October 1976. Once again, as all but one of their albums were, I believe, recorded at the Paragon in Chicago, produced by the band and engineered by Barry Mraz, which is the same as the last album. This album went to number 66 on the Billboard charts, which is actually the lowest of any of the A&M albums. All the A&M albums, other than this album, charted ahead of this. It didn't go gold until 1984 when the band had already broken up. So uh, probably one of the last A&M albums to go gold. Little backstory, like we said at the end of the last episode, John Serlewski was kind of really wearing out with the band.
Yes.
He was kind of burning out. He wanted to spend more time with his family. I'm not sure exactly. You should talk to some different people. There's some different stories as to why he left the band. Whether the band was kind of like, "Hey, see you later, bud," or if he was the one that kind of started all that. But anyhow, he left the band before the Equinox tour, so the band was pretty in dire need of a new guitar player quickly. They already had the tour scheduled, so um, they remembered this guy who had played with a band in Chicago called MS Funk. His name was Tommy Shaw. He was a guitar player from Alabama. He had played in some other local bands in Alabama before joining MS Funk, where Styx finally saw him. He went back to Alabama after MS Funk broke up to play with some childhood friends in a band. And that's when he got the call from Styx. Hey, we'd love for you to come up on audition. He came up, flew out the next day into Chicago, went to an audition, didn't even pick up his guitar. He talks about his audition a little bit. He didn't even open his guitar case. The band listened to his audition tape and asked him if he could sing the high harmonies in Lady. When he said he could, he got the job on the spot. So probably the only guitar player in history who, when he went to an audition, never actually played guitar and joined the band that day. They go out on the Equinox tour. They find that Tommy's a great fit for the band. They're having a great time on the Equinox tour. Go back, like most bands at that time, right back into the studio within a couple months to record and write this album. And as we'll go through the songs, I don't know if any other band in history let their new member write this many songs on their album. I mean, there's 7 songs on this album. Tommy Shaw writes or co-writes 5 of them and sings lead vocals on 3. So he has a lot to do with this album, even more than JY does. JY only sings vocals on 1 song, only has co-writes on, I believe, 2 or 3. So Tommy Shaw has more to do with this album than JY does, almost more to do with this album than Dennis does. Um, this really is Tommy Shaw's album. And whether we think that's a good or a bad thing, we'll get into here in just a minute. Is there anything else backstory that you wanted to add here, Jerry?
No, no, that was it. I mean, you mentioned it like he wasn't even, it's like, we don't need your guitar. We just need if you can sing this one note in Lady. And supposedly he nailed it. And the ironic part about it is in 1995, they redid it again, and Tommy Shaw was talking about that. That's the fucking note, the part that got me hired in the first place. It was a really kind of a cool story behind that. But yeah, you're right. This pretty much is amazing how Tommy was able to take over this album, basically, a new member. And they kind of did that with Edge of the Century too when we get to, because Glenn Burton had a lot of writing on that album too. But when we get to that, what you know, uh later. But man, this is a great album. I mean, like I said before, you can definitely tell they're turning into a more FM rock band in some of these tunes, especially Tommy's songs. And with that being said, let's see what we think about these songs. Let's start out with Put Me On, man, written by Dennis, Tommy, and JY.
Yeah, like you said, co-write from all three of the main songwriters in the band. This is a song that I talked about on our very first episode. This is a song I wish they would bring back into the set list. Unfortunately, they probably won't because it's a JY song. But I really do think this is an amazing way to open the album. Really cool intro, the keyboards and the guitars. Then it just blows into this great JY rocker. Those really high harmonies on the "Put Me On Your Brand
Yeah.
New Record Album." Just awesome way to start the song out. Really cool keys from Dennis DeYoung. Then it goes into a really great guitar solo, and then this kind of weird, like I kind of wrote that it's almost a Beatlesque kind of sound. The Dennis DeYoung vocal part in this song kind of it slows down. It has this kind of cool like power pop kind of sound to it. A little more Dennis than anybody else, but it's a really cool section. And then kicks right back into the rock section to close it out. Really cool song. Great way to open up the album, in my opinion. What do you think about it, Jerry?
Yeah, I agree. It's a really solid opener. The cool guitar riff over that, the proggy keyboards from Dennis, man, sounds really awesome. The gang vocals on the Put Me On, like you mentioned, was really awesome. And JY's nail on the leader. This is kind of more the JY we're going to hear in the future too, with his voice. It's more there. There's more stuff like that than
Mm-hmm.
well, he does still sing high, but you definitely tell. I don't know exactly what it is, but you definitely tell the difference in his voice from here on out than it was in the Wooden Nickel era. Um, what else they got here? Yeah. Interesting percussion from John on this. I don't know what he's using during that one part. It's like what are those things you use for your fingers? Not marang. Are they marang? No. Those little clicking things. What are those called? Do you know? Percussion. They do that little do, 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 do. I don't know. And it's what it sounds like. I don't know if that's it or not. But um and you mentioned the soft part, that soft part where Dennis is singing, really, really nice. Cool flow to this song. I love the changes. You got prog, you got rock, you almost got yacht rock in here. You got a lot of stuff all in one song here. This is a great solid opener. Um, what the hell are those things called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Um,
You click them with your fingers.
the castanets,
Is that what
or
they are? I don't know. There's
I'm not
definitely some
sure.
kind of yeah. There's some weird percussion. I tried looking up. All it says is John Panastio percussion and drums, but there's some weird. Maybe I'm just I don't know old and my hearing's going, but I kind of definitely heard something
Yeah, no, I know what
inter
you're talking about.
interesting in this part. But let's move on to the next song, Mademoiselle, written
Yeah,
by
this was
Dennis and Tommy.
Yep, this was the first single off the album. The first time you hear Tommy Shaw on lead vocals in Styx. Um, Really cool guitar harmonies on the intro before the verse comes in. Great kind of pop rock song. This was a little different for them. This is really isn't something you would really hear much more, and this is definitely the Tommy Shaw influence. And it worked out for him. This was a top 40 hit, went to number 36 on the Billboard charts. Really great harmonies on this one. Tommy's voice sounds amazing. Just a really great track, really great single off the album. Definitely keeping the momentum going from the first track, in my opinion.
Yeah. Je t'aime, Mademoiselle. Ooh la la. I mean, I hope I said that right. I
Yep.
apologize to all the French people if I didn't. Yeah, I love this song, man. Got the big chorus, and like you mentioned it, welcome to Styx, Tommy Shaw. The missing part into what is to become a really, really incredible run of albums. It's cool head bopping, little melody to it. Um, Great chorus, cool harmonizing solos. Chuck actually shines in this one as well with his bass going on through. It's really cool. And this was actually on Styx Greatest Hits too. I used to have one and two. I don't know what I did with them. I think I might have just got rid of them when I got the Come Sail Away anthology. I don't know, but I kind of wish I had them now. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a great freaking song, and I love it. So with that being said, let's move on to Dennis's first solo writing. Jennifer, what do you got?
Well, there's a great guitar solo in this song. and that's about all I have to say about it. This is one of the first songs that we've talked about that I can fully say I just do not like this song.
Really?
This is not a good song in my opinion. Um, like I said, I haven't really had to say that about almost any songs so far in all these albums we reviewed. This is a class A stinker in my opinion. Not a fan at all.
Yeah, actually, the negative part is Dennis is actually writing a song about another woman. Really?
I know.
Not to mention, only 17.
I was listening today. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'd ever noticed that before.
But see,
Ooh.
I actually kind of like this song. I kind of like the da. I think that's pretty cool, actually. A very sleek song, in my opinion. It's a sing-along song. I mean, you can always tell a great JY solo, which you mentioned before, really shines in this one, man. Doesn't disappoint. That last minute of mellow music as it goes out, I really dig that, man. So I'm gonna like this song a little bit better than you. So that being said, let's move on to the next song, which you may have heard of this song, you may have not, but Crystal Ball, the title track. What do you got? So I don't
Well,
have to
from
ask.
from the outhouse to the penthouse. Yeah. I mean, this is easily my favorite song on the album. One of my all-time favorite Styx songs. This was the only song that I knew from this album as a kid before I really got into all the albums in full. This was on that Classics Volume 15 that A&M put out. That's the CD I had as a kid. It was on the 95 Greatest Hits as well. So it was really the only song from this album that I knew growing up. And what a song. I mean, Tommy's vocals, the acoustic playing, that chorus coming in with the harmonies, the keyboard solo, back into the Tommy singing the chorus, and then this great guitar solo to close it out. I mean, what a song. Like you said, Tommy was really that missing link coming in and just propelling this band pretty much to superstardom. I mean, I can't believe that this single didn't do anything.
Right.
This was the last single released from the album. Didn't do shit. I mean, surprisingly, and yet this became like such a it's a set list standard for the band. They play it pretty much every tour. Surprisingly, though, I've only seen them play it twice. It took me till a couple years ago to see them play it. The first time I saw them play it, I was over the moon. It was at the M3 Rock Festival. They pulled it out. I saw Tommy come out with his acoustic. I was hoping that was what it was going to be, and it was, and it sounded amazing. Tommy can still belt this one out with the best of them. Sounds great. Um, just an amazing track. Easily
Yeah,
my favorite song on the
yeah.
album.
Yeah, I agree. I love the weird structure to this song too. It's not your typical, core, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. And it goes out. It's different. Really, a cool structure to it. I mean,
It,
what
it,
can
it's
what could
it's verse, chorus, chorus, chorus.
right? And there actually is a second verse out there. You,
Yes.
you Tommy every now and then does sing it live. I happen to see them live. To see them bring that out when I saw them do a show in 2015 or 14. They were supposed to do like a symphony set here in Nashville, but we had a really bad ice storm that night, and like the Nashville the orchestra people couldn't make it, so it was just them and maybe 100 people that managed to brave the ice storm, which was fortunately one of mine because it was such a great intimate show. I mean, everybody, it's like 100 people around the stage and them doing stuff like girls with guns. I mean, all kinds of stuff, stuff they would never do nowadays with a special occasion. But yeah, I mean, what can we say about this song? We don't already know, man. This is a great acoustic guitar riff. I love this riff. It is so fun to play on guitar. Um, and this is like pretty much like you said. This was a very, even though it didn't chart well, it was a very radio friendly song. And I'm amazed that it didn't, you know, like some songs come back years later and re-enter the chart because it is an amazing tune, man. It still has some proggy elements to it, like Dennis's solo. But man, when it breaks out of that into that riff, that guitar riff into that
Mm-hmm.
tell me, holy crap. And then Tommy reaching that high note, I just gotta know. I mean, I'm not even gonna try to do it. I'll tear my vocal cords out. But man, this is a freaking classic song, man. And yeah, they don't do it every tour, but they do it on the majority of the tour. They're not doing it this time, right? No, it's not on
No.
the set list. Okay. But anyway, yeah, this is a fucking great song, dude. One of their best. Period. Not just to mention on the album, but period. So then we're gonna flip this bitch over and we're gonna do Shoes written by Tommy and JY. What do you got on?
Yep. Tommy closes side one with a great track, and he opens up side two with a great track. This is the third and final Tommy vocal on the album. This is the first time you'll hear a bit of a heavier Tommy. His first two songs are a little bit more poppy, ballady. This song is bluesy, heavy. This is Tommy Shaw's wheelhouse going forward. The kind of stuff you'll hear on the next couple albums are this is where he really finds his home at, and it's just great. Opening with the finger snaps and the kind of bluesy riff. Um, Tommy and JY immediately. I mean, we'll talk about it a couple times over the next few albums, but anytime Tommy and JY are doing something together, it's going to turn out
Oh
great.
yeah, I
Um,
agree.
this is the first example of that. Really great. You can almost hear in the main riff, it sounds almost like Nazareth or ZZ Top,
I hear
the way
Lagrange
the
on this one.
guitar is playing.
Yeah,
Um, and you could really hear it like with the groove and the type of riff, it sounds like ZZ Top. With the guitar tone, it really sounds like Nazareth to me. And I mean, that's high praise because I adore both of those bands. Um, really great track. Tommy's vocals sound amazing on this. Just a really great rocking track.
yeah. You know what? If they ever did like, where they add a carrot to every set list, and they pulled this one out, holy shit, I would be in heaven, man, because I absolutely love this song. And you mentioned the ZZ Top vibe too, kind of the grunge, with
Mm-hmm.
the riff and the finger snapping, and Tommy with those oohs over it. Holy crap, what a singer, man. Again, this is what Tommy brought to the band. It's more mainstream rock vibe to it. This is a great song, man. Great freaking trade-off leaves from Tommy and JY. This is a great song. This is actually one of my, along with Crystal Ball, one of my favorite Styx songs. And I think we added this on my and
Yes.
what I loved is that I could pull in the set list. This would be an awesome song. But yeah, it's a great song. And then we get into some interesting part of the album here. We got This Old Man by Dennis.
Well, the last Dennis solo song on this album, I was clearly not a big fan of, but I could not feel more differently about this one. This is an amazing song. This is Dennis the way I want to hear Dennis. I don't want to hear the sappy ballads. I want to hear this. This is an amazing track. The entire band shines on this. The guitar solos are great. The whole song, Dennis sounds great on vocals. He has great keyboard parts. The rhythm section is solid on this song. Really great, progressive kind of sounding song. Just a really, probably my favorite Dennis song from this album. Really big highlight for me. Um, just a great track, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It starts out with this really cool synchronized lead riff on guitar. No mistaking who that is playing acoustic guitar. You can tell John C's acoustic, but you can definitely tell that's Tommy's acoustic. Actually, kind of similar to the Crystal Ball riff in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and like the A minor riff. But yeah, this is a really strong tune. All kinds of cool changes, especially around the 2 minute and 2:45 mark. Really cool stuff. And I agree with you. This is a really, really good Dennis song, man. So then we're gonna close this one out with Claire de Lune and Ballerina. Claire de Lune, written by Claude Debussy. Am I saying that right?
No.
Oh, okay. But I butcher her name. That's like every show. But I know the guy who wrote Ballerina. That's Dennis DeYoung. So what do you think about this closing track, bro?
Yeah, Claire de Lune is a very famous classical piece written by Claude Debussy.
I was
Really,
close.
if you're
Nah,
watching
not
if you're
really.
watching Family Guy, it's
Right.
Debussy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Claude Debussy, really great classical piece. I read that Dennis actually had to change the key of this to flow into Ballerina, so it's not as necessarily recognizable as it might be if it was in the original key. But I mean, Claire de Lune has been done famously. Looney Tunes did Claire de Lune. Like, I mean, it's a very
Right.
very famous classical piece, and it flows really well into Ballerina, which is a really great closing track, in my opinion. Co-written by Dennis and Tommy. Just a really great track. Some really cool trading of guitar solos in this track. Dennis sounds great on it. I'd put it a little bit below This Old Man as far as ranking Dennis songs on the album, but it's miles better than Jennifer, in my opinion. So, pretty cool way to close out the album.
Yeah, all I have is it's nice. Guitar playing, it's nice. The song itself is nice. I mean, is it an okay song? I mean, is it a really good song? No, I would say it's nice. Uh, um, yeah, in all seriousness, it's a decent song. It's not my favorite one on the album. I like to see Dennis rock more, and the opening track to the next album, he fucking delivers. But this song is just, when we talk about placement in an album, it's kind of hard to place these songs in this album perfectly, in my opinion. It's
I
so
think they should have swapped the last two.
sure, but this song is nice. I'll leave it at that. But all right, well, that's our. It's just a short album, song wise, and what a great album this is, man. This is definitely a sign to things to come. And the next album, can't wait to talk about that. We'll talk about not having to do too much homework on something. That's definitely an album you don't have to do too much homework on.
What could you possibly be talking about, Jerry?
Yeah, but
Uh,
yeah, like I said, I'm hoping to see them. I hope they do the Grand Illusion in its entirety when I see them in the fair. It's kind of an off because they're not dealing with Kevin or Don Felder, so I don't know if they're gonna do the same. Probably. I mean, that's what they've been practicing and doing.
Honestly, yeah, if they're doing it right now, or
Yeah,
maybe they'll surprise you and come out and do a bunch of deep cuts, which would be
right.
amazing, and I'd be so
Holy crap,
jealous of
that would be
you.
awesome. But man, I mean, Joseph in a couple weeks be able to see this concert live, man, and I would just. I'm still pissed off because they canceled here because they didn't sell tickets. I'm like, what the hell? They
Yeah.
always sell well here in Tennessee. I don't get that. So, man, and what else?
As we close out, though, I do have to give a shout out to a great episode of the Freeform Rock podcast where we reviewed this album, both Jerry and I. So if you want to hear us talk even more about this
Right,
album and what some other people think about this album, check out the Freeform Rock podcast episode
yeah,
on Crystal Ball.
right. I mean, this album's incredible. I mean, it's still I've listened to this album quite a bit still. I mean, we reviewed the songs, we talked about the album, but what can we tell these people that they don't already know about this album? It's a freaking
I actually
classic.
think this might be one of the more underrated of the A&M albums because really the only song that they come back to is Crystal Ball. That's really
Yeah,
for like a casual fan, probably the only song you're going to know off this album because even though it was a top 40 hit, like you said, Mademoiselle wasn't on Classics Volume 15. It wasn't on the first six greatest hits. And not, I didn't even know until I was older that Volume 2 existed.
right.
Like I knew of the 95 one with the blue cover with the big Styx logo on it.
Yeah,
That's the one I knew. I had that one. I had no clue about Volume 2 until years later. So I think for a lot of people, this is one of those albums where you really don't know as much from it. And I think that people, of course, everyone watching this knows this album, but for people that might not know as much about Styx, this is an album that I think more people need to check out because there's
yeah,
some
I
really
agree.
great stuff on this that doesn't get a chance in the mainstream nearly as much as even some of the songs on Equinox. Like we said, there's probably 3 songs on Equinox that most people would know that
Right.
were on those greatest hits albums. And then, of course, going forward, I mean, the next 2 albums we're going to talk about, everybody knows, and
Right. Yeah.
even the album after that that I'm not the biggest fan of, there was hits on that album, and then Paradise Theater, and so on and so forth. I think of all that run of albums, this is the one that gets the least love, and I think it should
Right.
get a lot more love, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's actually a better album than Equinox, but like you said, they play more songs off Equinox than they do off Crystal Ball. I
Yeah.
mean, I would just love if they brought out something like Shoes or Mademoiselle on a set list, man. I mean, the casual fan probably will never know that, like you said, but man, I would just be fucking rocking in the seat, man, enjoying
See
it.
that seems like to me like I've noticed their winter tours are usually where they bring out some more of the deeper cuts because that's when they're usually by themselves. They have longer sets,
Mm, right.
and usually they're smaller venues. So it's the people that are going to want to come and see Styx are the people that are going to go see
Right.
that. Whereas most of their summer tours, when they're co-headlining or when they're in bigger arenas or pavilions, that's usually when you're going to get the trimmed down greatest hits set list or something
Yeah.
like playing the entirety of the Grand Illusion. That's when you're
And I
going to see
get
that, I think.
and I get that. The casual fan doesn't want to hear Mademoiselle. They want to hear, unfortunately, Mr. Roboto, stuff like that. It's just the way it is. And they'll bring out, I mean, if you ever notice when they do like a new song or a deeper track, you see a bunch of people heading to the bathroom and stuff. I'm like, dude, these are great.
I'll
This is
I'll, I'll say though they're a band that I respect. They play a lot of songs from the new albums. When I saw the Mission
Yeah,
tour, they played 4 or 5 songs from the Mission. I've seen them across the 4 different times I've seen them after they put out Crash of the Crown. I've seen like 6 or 7 of those songs live. Like they've
yeah,
played a decent amount. And of course, on this tour, even though they're basically doing Grand Illusion plus 7 or 8 greatest hits, they're still putting the new single in, which I think is really great. I think that they're one of those bands that doesn't put out an album and then just like on to the next thing,
right.
like Kiss. But um, uh, I mean, everyone sees the poster next to me. I mean, they know. But Styx is one of those bands that will still. They're proud of what they're doing. They wouldn't.
Yeah,
They're not a band that's just going to put out albums to sell them because they're probably not. Um, they're putting out albums because they legitimately want to put out albums and they're proud of that material. And as much as we can all sit around and say, "Oh, I wish they pull out this song and this song and this song and
right.
this song from the old albums," and we did. That was our first episode. I think it's a great thing that they're repping the new stuff too.
Yeah,
Because I mean, how many bands can we go and see that it's an hour and a half set of nothing but songs from like 4 albums? And
yeah,
you're not going to get that with Styx, thankfully. Styx
right.
is a band that will actually pull out some stuff that you don't expect, whether it be old or new.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched some videos of this tour. I was kind of against Will joining the band part-time, but I mean, not part-time, full-time, excuse me. But I'm kind of changing my tone on that one. If you listen to them live, man, the
It's
sound
so
is
full.
incredible.
It's great.
Exactly.
The couple
And
times I've seen them since he joined as well, actually all but one time. The only time, the first time I saw them was before he joined as a live member, but every time I've seen them since has been with him on stage, and it's just
yeah,
such a full sound. He really does a great job. Really, that extra guitar it allows. I mean, it allows for more second keyboard work than they ever had before because now JY can go over and do the keyboard part. Will can pick up the guitar part, and they're able to do all of that live, and it adds that element, which I think is really great.
yeah. I agree. And hats off to Terry too. I think he's doing a
Yeah.
good job. I was a huge Ricky Phillips fan. I thought he fit in with them perfectly. Hope he's doing well. Hey, I sent a message to you on your email. You haven't gotten back to me. Come on, man. You want to be on the show. Come on. Help a couple brothers out, man. We're huge fans, Rick. But don't think that's gonna happen. But I can dream. But all right, well, that's our show. That is our show of Crystal Ball. This will be out. Well, we know when they come out on Sundays. I'm not gonna remind you of that. But our next album, you guys may have heard of it. We'll leave it as a surprise. How about that? We won't tell you right now what it is. Decent little album, in my opinion. But anyway, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, uh, listen, share, do whatever you can to get it out there, man, because we really love talking about this band and we hope to do this for a long, long time. Even after we're done redoing the albums, we're going to still try to manage to scrap together some decent off
We'll go
shows.
back and review them again.
Exactly.
We'll have a different guest on for each one and just keep
There we
cycling through the
go.
discography.
There we go. Maybe we just have like panels talk about, certain albums like the little known next album we're going to be talking about. But anyway, man, Joe, thanks for joining me yet again. Any last words?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for checking it out. I really hope you guys enjoyed our last episode. We had a lot of fun doing that. We really want to
Uh,
thank Ralph for coming on again and being such a great supporter of this show. Like I said, I don't think either Jerry or I would really be here doing this if it weren't for Ralph. So it was
Absolutely.
really cool to have him on, and we're looking forward to having some more guests coming on here soon. So
Yes.
thank you once again for checking us out, liking, sharing, subscribing. We've loved seeing comments. We've gotten some really great stories in the comments of our last few episodes about what people think of the albums when they first heard the albums. We've got a lot of fans, OG Styx fans from back in the day, telling
Yeah.
us about what their experience with the album was, which is great. We love that. We'd love to hear more of that from everybody. So we really
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And if you ever want to be on a special show, if you're out and want to talk about your old Styx ex, experiences, excuse me, if you've seen them in concert and want to talk about them, let us know, man. We'll let anybody on. We're desperate. We'll let anybody on. But anyway, Joe, you take care, brother, and I will talk to you later, man.
See ya.
All right, bye-bye.